TV Campfire Podcast.
I was like, okay, so you win for the week.
We're here.
I hate to sound like a broken record.
Oh no! We're fans.
It's one of the best things on television.
Oh! Alright, we got you a whole different level.
No, you didn't.
We talk TV.
That was the best scene ever. Like, that blew me away.
It was absolutely amazing. I just couldn't believe it.
Welcome to the show.
This is podcast number 615, and I am Libya, your host. And this week we have returning guests.
Malik Elamine, Artistic Director of Griot Theater.
This is Tom. I chair Visual and Media Arts at Palm Beach Atlantic University in Florida and host the Screen Tom podcast on iTunes and Spotify.
This is Allison, and I write reviews for 6 Degrees of Geek.
Hi, this is Yusun, and I'm a costume designer and TV enthusiast from Los Angeles.
All right, guys. Tom, you have the news. Hit us.
Got a bunch of news. ABC, Sophia Bush has landed a recurring role in Grey's Anatomy Season 21.
Oh my
Sean
God.
William Scott will join Tim Allen and Kat Dennings in their upcoming sitcom Shifting Gears. Amazon's RoboCop TV series has set Pito Acco as showrunner and James Wan as producer. They preemptively bought the TV rights for Natalie Keller Reinert's books, The Eventing and Briar Hill Farm. They're both horseback riding-centric romance book series. Boys Season 5 has cast Mason Dye in the recurring role as Bombsight. Daveed Diggs has also joined in an undisclosed series lead role. And their adult animated series Secret Level has announced a star-studded voice cast. Some of the top liners include Arnold and Patrick Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart, Keanu Reeves, Tamara Morrison, Ariana Greenblatt, and many, many more. AMC has announced that Elizabeth McGovern from Downton Abbey is joining the Talamasca series. At Apple TV Plus, Amber Midthunder from Prey and Roswell, New Mexico, has joined Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 in a heavily recurring role. And Apple's also picked up Slow Horses for Season 6 and Shrinking for Season 3.
Yay!
At CBS, Rose McIver will direct an upcoming episode of Ghosts, and Sakina Jeffrey and Bernard White have been cast as Jay's parents for the 1-hour Christmas special. At the CW, Samantha Logan, Cody Christian, Karima Westbrook, Monet Mazur, Chelsea Tavares, and previously announced Daniel Ezra are not returning as series regulars to All-American. DirecTV is in talks to merge with Dish, which is interesting because they used to be big-time competitors. And DirecTV is launching a free ad-supported service next month. Disney Plus announced Iron Man and His Awesome Friends animated kids series for summer 25, featuring world-staving besties Tony Stark, Riri Williams, Ironheart, and Amadeus Cho, Iron Hulk. HBO has cast Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre to play Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, respectively, in Lanterns. At Hulu, Dan Fogelman from This Is Us has set an NFL drama with a generational component. This is his second upcoming Hulu drama, joining previously announced political thriller Paradise with Sterling K. Brown and James Morrison. Max has given a series orders. That doesn't make any sense, so I'm not going to say it. Netflix has acquired the biblical epic Mary starring Anthony Hopkins, just in time for the holidays. Brian T. from Expats and Reacher has joined Rebecca Ferguson, Idris Elba, Jared Harris, Tracy Letts, Mogus Ingram in Catherine Bigelow's new thriller about a national security crisis in the White House.
Ooh.
Monster Season 3 has cast Laurie Metcalf as Ed Gein's mother and Tom Hollander and Olivia Williams as Alfred and Alma Hitchcock. They've also ordered a limited series adaptation of East of Eden from writer Zoe Kazan, starring Florence Pugh, Christopher Abbott, Mike Feist, and Hoon Lear. They also picked up The Diplomat for Season 3, The Night Agent also for Season 3, and Nobody Wants This for Season 2 with new showrunners, but they canceled Chaos after one season. Boo! And Unstable with The Lows after 2 seasons. At Paramount, Ben Schnetzer, the lead from Y: The Last Man, is joining the Yellowstone spinoff The Madison. Still no word if that's going to be on Paramount Network or Paramount Plus. Peacock has announced the new Office series has cast Gibasola Ikumela from A League of Their Own, Alex Edelman from Unfrosted, Tim Key from The Witchfinder, and Eric Rahill from The Bear. Starz has canceled The Serpent Queen after 2 seasons, but they are spinning off Queen Elizabeth I. And that's what I got.
Wow, that was a lot.
A lot of news.
All right, let's start off with the shows, and we'll start off with the one show that got unceremoniously canceled, which is Chaos. And so we're going to wrap up our coverage of Chaos in this podcast. So that means we have the second half of the season to talk about. But I think that's good because a lot of stuff happened, but I also think that it left in a, well, it did live in a cliffhanger. But
It kind of did. Well, it's not so much a cliffhanger as an unfinished story. They had clearly set this out as being like a 3-season storyline, and we only got like Act 1, and we'll
right.
never get the rest of it, which I am very, very bitter about.
Tell us how you really feel. Malik, you have any comment? I see a
Well,
look
it
on your
is,
face.
it is, to me, it's one of the best shows I've seen on television. I think it is imaginative. They have incredible casting. It's well written. And when you have things like gods where you can use magic and other things to tell your story, it just doesn't get better than that. And Jeff Goldblum sitting at the center of it just delights me every time he's on the screen. So I'm like, we hear about shows getting canceled and not renewed all the time. And sometimes I'm like, oh, but this is like the first one where I'm like, I'm struck by that. The show was so, did I just do something? Oh, the show is so good. I don't understand how, I mean, clearly not enough people are watching it. I mean, that's why
the ratings.
yeah, but
Well,
just in
it was
terms of,
doing well. It just apparently wasn't doing well enough to justify, I guess, how expensive it was. And unfortunately, it was a critical darling. The critics loved it.
They don't care.
I
Netflix
think,
doesn't care
but
about critical ratings.
that's the problem. There's the days where a network or a streaming service would actually care about having a prestige show are sadly behind us. And the idea that they would expend money on something just for the prestige of having it is unfortunately not something that they take into consideration anymore. And that's really unfortunate because Chaos was really one of the best things Netflix has.
I kind of like the second half of the season better than the first half. They lean so heavily into the Orpheus Eurydice myth for the first half, and that has been so picked over from movies ranging from Moulin Rouge to, I mean, there's so many different adaptations of that or free adaptations of that. So when they got to the other myths, like with Minos and the Minotaur and his family drama, and they did a really interesting thing with the is it Caeneus? They completely rewrote that, but they did a much better, less offensive version of that. Because the version from mythology is really just, it's gross. And
yeah, a lot of things from mythology are.
And it's gross and transphobic, and the way they by switching it, by staying within the frame of Greek mythology, by making him a child of the Amazons who goes from girl to boy, where they in mythology they murder the boy children at the births. So it seems like in the Chaos universe, if some of the girls realize they're actually boys and don't leave, they get killed on sight, which we see that happen, which was a really interesting take. But Goldblum was so, I mean, he had so, what an interesting casting choice, because usually you think of Zeus being a little bit more macho and more heroic and leading manish, versus Goldblum does Goldblum. I mean, and we love him. But when he did the capricious things, like frying his brother in the pool, which is like,
oh, that was crazy.
Cool.
I mean, even before he fried him, making him get in the pool in the first place was just,
that was kind of gangster, man. It was kind of.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
But and what he does, murdering Dionysus' cat. I mean, like, dude, once he did that, I'm like, you deserve whatever's coming to you, dude. Because
well, the thing is, you saw it coming too.
Oh yeah,
saw it coming.
Yeah. You knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, all of that stuff was really good because he really came off like the head of a mob family, like for real. Like he was like, this ambrosia that keeps us young, I'm now going to ration it, and you only get as much as I think you deserve for being loyal to me. And then you got to re-up. You got to come back and get more.
What's also, I think, just beautiful about his performance and the writing is that he's incredibly powerful, but he's also like a kid who has all of this power.
He's petty too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's both dangerous and childlike at the same time, which is an
I wonder
incredible.
who that sounds like in the real world.
What's interesting is that he was, you say he's an odd choice for it. He wasn't actually the first choice for that role. Hugh Grant was supposed to do it, and then there was a scheduling conflict, and he couldn't do it. And
But I feel like Hugh Grant
Jeff
would have played
Goldblum
a very similar, because Hugh Grant kind of comes off a little fey.
He's charming.
He's very charming, but he's also most recently he's been doing
He's
a
done
lot of bad guys, so he can really bring that part of it too.
In his,
but it would have been a very different
to
interpretation.
I'm glad Grant wasn't available, because getting to see Goldblum in this role is a treat.
Oh, a joy.
I did like when Hera is pleading with him, "Don't be dad," because in Myth, the Olympians overthrew the Titans, although
For a reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for a reason. But the explanation that he actually has part of Cronus' soul in him
was pretty cool. That was a nice twist.
One of the reasons why he's prone to fits of, and also the reveal that the people who go through, we see the people who go through the frame being basically dusted slowly.
Right.
But when you notice the fountain, you can see the particles from the dust feeding into the fountain.
Oh, I don't think I noticed that.
If you're looking for it.
Yeah, you don't notice it until you suddenly see the other scene, and then you go, wait a minute.
I want to talk about the Minotaur myth a little bit, because that was a nice surprise, because the whole thing was like fulfilling prophecy. They're like, we gotta thwart this prophecy. We gotta have him, because the prophecy is that his son.
Yep,
his firstborn. His firstborn. Yes, that was the key.
First to draw breath.
Yeah.
First to draw breath.
To draw breath. That's true. Yes. More specifically.
The prophecy was the first to draw breath will kill him. So because his son was born first but was quiet, they assumed it was the son, and then they did all this horrible stuff to this child, and then blamed the twin sister on his death, and it was just so much trauma wrapped in that avoidance of prophecy. I was like, and his original plan was just to not have kids, which I thought was a good plan, because he does not need to be a father. Like, that dude was
not really cut out for it.
No,
really.
Not really. So I like that his original plan was just to not have kids, and then the gods tell him, oh, you have to have an heir. And he's like, crap. So his solution then is to lock up.
Chain him up.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to kill him, and then he didn't do it.
Well, you say supposed to. Nobody wanted him to kill his kid but him.
Right.
The gods weren't telling him to kill his child.
That's true too.
That was just his own. And I mean, that's how it works with all of the prophecies. The actions you take to avoid the prophecy make the prophecy happen.
Which is totally goes back to Oedipus.
Yes.
Except for in the play, he's already done the thing, so he can't avoid. You're gonna do, kill your father and marry your mother. You've already done it, dude. You can't escape it.
Well, no, but the Oedipus, the king, is the one who sent the. I'm trying to make sure I got this right. The father sent him away in order to avoid being killed by his son.
Yeah, so he's raised by a peasant family.
Right. So because he sent him away, he doesn't know that's his father to kill.
When he murders Laius on the road, he doesn't know. But where the play picks up, all the crucial events have already happened, so it's like, yeah, you're screwed.
But my point is the twist, of course, is that they told us through the whole time that the daughter was the loudest, she screamed the most, and blah blah blah, and then she was like, wait a minute, I'm the one that drew breath first, and she kills her father because of what he did to her brother.
Yep. And the mother says good when she tells
I know, right?
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was a really good fulfillment of prophecy because of your own actions. And then there was another twist. What was the other one? I feel like there was one more I'm forgetting.
The
was a
enemies basically say, "Help us lead a
Well,
revolt against the gods."
also the further exposure of Hera and Poseidon's relationship, because Dionysus walks in on them. So
Yeah.
that added attention that we were hoping was going to go into season 2, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that was really
alas.
good. And I
Well,
like
but
the
Hera
fact,
totally stabs Dionysus in the back.
but also Dionysus showed he can't keep a secret to save his life. So
I mean,
he was
but we
definitely
knew
a
this.
loose. Yeah, he
Hera
was a
totally
loose
stabs
end.
Poseidon in the back by not, publicly acknowledging, because her self-preservation kicks in.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then I like that she collects all her priestesses and is like, I'm out. So she books it, and I was like, okay, they set everything up really well for
Yeah.
a fantastic season 2 that we'll never see.
That
will
we
never
will
happen.
never ever see. That
I have 2 words for those: graphic novel. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Next up, we're going to talk. Well, first of all, we're all saying thumbs up
oh way
Absolutely.
up. You know.
for Chaos.
Absolutely. All the thumbs. I think it's one of the best shows that's ever been on television from my standpoint.
Wow, that is
Agreed.
I don't know if I'd go
strong.
there.
I was like, it's a very strong statement. I really like
It
the show.
is, and I stand by that statement.
I don't know that I would
Okay.
make it the best, but I would say it's probably in the top 10 for me.
I said I didn't say the best. It's among the best.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All
I
right.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
All right, next up, we're going to talk Slow Horses, and we're going to wrap out the last 2 episodes, which was episode 5 and 6. And we, of course, were correct in that River
Who's your
Cartwright.
daddy?
River Cartwright is the illegitimate son of the big villain, or Mr. Anderson. No, he's not Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, he is.
He is. He is
He
Mr.
is.
No,
No,
he's Agent Smith.
He's-
Agent
Smith.
Smith. He just says,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Or OG Elrond.
Anderson. Yes.
You just Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
And some of that speech came out
Anderson.
in this role too. I
Yeah.
was like,
Every once in a while, yeah.
I almost
Yes.
didn't recognize him because he's filled out some.
And he's
Yeah.
got that beard.
Yeah.
But
And the beard.
but
so,
it's
yeah,
basically
I can
it's a Luke Skywalker story,
Yes.
essentially.
yes, the guy you're trying to kill is actually your father, who is also sort of trying to kill you, but not really. Like he was like, "Oh,
We're
this
trying
whole-
to recruit you to join the dark side.
I know it was like the whole thing was a recruitment." Well,
He's
I was
basically like, if I can kill you, you should die. But if I can't kill you, come join me.
Yeah.
that was insane.
It's like he was perfectly good with whichever way it went, really.
Yeah.
You know. I
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't
he-
care.
he put a grenade in his hoodie. Like,
Oh,
come on.
my
Well, that's what he says. You put a grenade in my hoodie. Hard pass.
Yeah,
So
forgot
my
that whole
dad made me
father
go to the
thing.
library during the summer, so you know the
That-
comparisons are rather different.
Yes. I was just like, wow. But I like that he did take a lesson. Like he was like, if they're chasing you, stand still.
mhm.
And if they're if you're after I forgot what the other piece of the advice was, but I like that he was like, oh wait, we're chasing him. That means he's gonna stand still. And he figured out exactly where he was. I was like, nice. I like that he was paying attention, even though he
Yeah.
didn't want to be. But
I
he
mean,
was.
as soon as they were racing through there, I knew that was going to come back
Right.
for 2 reasons, because we'd just been explicitly told it, but then also we had seen him sitting at the bar in an earlier scene. Like that's like his little
Yeah.
go-to place. So I
Yeah.
figured, oh yeah, okay.
He's
Yeah,
just
so that
gonna
was nice
Okay.
foreshadowing, and it paid off.
paid off. Yeah,
Yes.
it was a good payoff. And River Cartwright, I still maintain, is still an idiot. I
Oh,
I
God,
He's
don't
got a hero
understand.
complex.
He
I'm
has a
hoping
hero
that-
complex that comes and bites everyone else in the butt, not just himself, but everybody else.
I'm hoping that if they continue his coupling with Louisa, that she can knock some sense into him.
That
Well,
would be
but that's the key
nice.
thing. So what Libya just said is true, and yet he still doesn't seem to be aware of this.
People have
He
told
doesn't
him.
seem to recognize how many people died because he didn't communicate with folks. So
People
I mean that's
people have told him over and every single season of the show, he does something hero complexy and something bad happens, and every time his teammates are like, "Dude, stop it." And he's like, "No, but this time it'll be different because this time I'll be a hero." And I'm just like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I
And this time Marcus paid the price for that.
Well,
think
Marcus
we're
paid the
down,
price
Marcus.
because I feel like Marcus paid the price because Marcus did something stupid too.
Yeah,
that
that's true.
wasn't-
But I mean, it's because all the whole thing with the assassins were going after
Yeah.
them and all of that. Otherwise, it
Yes.
just would have been yet another stupid thing that Marcus does. But yeah, I mean, at
Marcus
least
didn't help himself.
he kind of made up for it by being a bit heroic at the end. You know,
No,
so
I
there
don't
was
think that was heroic. I think that was dumb.
You mean
Well,
Marcus?
Yeah.
Marcus, he went and
Marcus.
got back the gun, of course, in the
Yes.
stupidest way possible by betting again. But he got the gun back and he defended them. He was able to
did.
put off
He did, but I mean,
assassin for a
defending your
while.
position is better than running out and chasing. Like there's that point where he got everybody in one place, and instead of defending that position, he's like, "I'm gonna go out for this, get this." I was like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Well, but
Yeah,
he
no-
didn't really have anything to defend with. They don't literally did not have any weapons.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
had
Well,
another
Marcus
gun.
had a gun, and then they
They had
found
the
the
other gun.
revolver in the cabinet.
Yeah.
So I agree that
Which they
Marcus
couldn't find,
the
and
bullets
then
for
didn't have any bullets in it.
that was
Well, they
was
did have
rich.
bullets, but what's her name? The replacement
She just dropped them all over the
she
floor.
dropped them all over the floor. It was like,
Well,
really?
yeah, but they weren't. It wasn't. I mean, I'm sorry. If I were a spy, I would keep the gun
Keep
loaded
the gun loaded.
in
Yeah.
a secret place so I know where to get it. I'm trying. What's the name of the woman who was always busting Marcus' chops, rightfully so?
I forgot his
yeah,
partner.
The white spy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the
basically,
drug
where
addict
she's ready to
character,
kill the assailant, and then the new guy who's kind of cray says you can't do that, and then he does it. I'm like,
very
Go!
casually, very casually.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
I like
okay.
that dude. I mean, he's not.
I do not.
But he's. A
I
great,
do. I think he's going to be really interesting when they actually
Going to
start
be,
working
but
with
in
him.
this whole season, all he did was mope, put a
Yep.
knife to a coworker's throat, and then give them armchair psychology lessons.
Well,
But
I-
they were
I
all,
actually-
but they were all accurate
he's,
though.
he suffers
but he was
from
right.
he suffers from
He was right.
PTSD, and I
He's
think
got some
this
serious PTSD.
this season was where he kind of gets over it enough to be functional. So I think, I mean, because they do show previews of what next season is
Next
going to
season.
be, and from what I saw, it looks like he plays a much bigger role and he's much more active.
Well,
So I'm
is
looking
somebody going
forward
to be
to that.
like, we're going to have to deal with you putting this knife to my throat before we have a relationship?
Maybe.
Because some
Is it
things
Shirley?
aren't as
I
easily
mean,
forgivable.
they're all dysfunctional. So, you know, it's
Yeah,
just that's
I
his
didn't
version.
appreciate that character for this season. Maybe we do this to get to something interesting next season, but he just seemed like a walking trope to me.
His
Yeah,
character's name is Ko.
what?
Who?
Ko. J.K. Ko. C-O-E is his character's name.
I,
And
I
Shirley
don't.
is
I don't think anyone's ever said his name on the show. Has anybody
Yeah.
said his name?
and what's his
I don't
face?
think so.
The Asian tech dude. I just want to smack him so many times.
Oh
He's-
God, I am so over it. If he had been the one to die, I wouldn't have worried at all.
I would have
I'd
cheered.
have been okay with that.
I mean,
But he's
I,
interesting.
I know. I don't know if he's
It's
interesting.
annoying.
I think he's
annoying.
on my
interesting.
nerves
Yeah,
so much.
I'm ready for. They kill one slow horse every season. One person pretty much dies
They didn't
every
kill somebody
season
in
on
season
the.
3, did they?
Yeah, I feel like
No,
they did.
two they killed what's her face's partner.
Yeah, I thought they killed somebody in 3 as well.
I don't
They
think
killed somebody in season 1. They killed somebody in season 2. I thought. I don't remember.
Oh, you
Well,
know what?
Spider
But-
buys it,
but
and but
Spider.
he's not really
Yeah,
part
but
of
we
their
don't care
group.
about Spider.
That's true, but
He
he was.
deserved
What you're
it, and I
saying
was
is you're
waiting.
wishing.
The
you're
only
wishing.
thing I had against Spider was that they didn't give him a painful enough death. That was the only thing I worried about.
And we still don't know why he. We still don't know
Wow.
why he burned River in the pilot.
Well, because he was a coward.
Yeah.
That was
Was
that was
that
it.
it? That was the only.
Yeah, because he was a coward and he wanted to come off as a hero, and so somebody had to go down for him to look like a hero. So he just ran. He picked River because he felt like River thought he was entitled, which River did.
He is.
Yeah. And so he was like, "All right, since you're entitled, I'm gonna take you down and take your spot and be the big hero guy." But yeah, Spider is such a coward.
Yeah.
Spider
So
was-
people were happy with how this season ended then.
Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was done well. I felt really sorry for River's grandfather.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
I mean, I've had personal experience with relatives with dementia, and just that scene where he's calling for him and he doesn't want to be left there and all of that. Just it was just kind of
Oh,
heartrending
when he
for
left
me.
him at the home.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
like, you
because
promised me, you
Oh,
promised me.
oh
And that
yeah.
just took my heart out.
Oh,
yeah, because the thing
yeah.
is, he knew he wasn't equipped because he left his grandfather at home. He shot somebody in the face. So
Yeah. No,
you
Well,
can't.
but I
it's
mean,
he absolutely needed to be there, but it's just a heartbreaking
heartbreaking.
thing,
Yeah.
and the idea that he made some promise before those conditions had arrived.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're gonna say thumbs up for Slow
Oh,
Horses.
yeah.
Oh,
Love the
yeah.
horses.
Cannot wait till next season. They did a really good job with this.
And won't have to wait too long.
Oh, when is the next
Yeah.
season?
We don't know, but we know they're done.
Well, yeah, but they still might hold it for a year.
You think they could? You think they could get Jeff Goldblum for this next season?
Considering they've already pretty much probably filmed next
It's
season,
already
maybe
filmed.
6.
Yeah. So next up, we're gonna talk Bad Monkey, and Bad Monkey is the show that I liked at the beginning, but I will say from the episode where they had that whole episode with the villains and we learned everything about it from their perspective, that was when the show turned for me.
Which is early.
It was early.
It was very like,
But it's when the show turned for me because what I liked about it was the mystery of it and who done it and trying to figure out the mystery. And I was like, oh, he's only got one arm. And I was all into that. But then once they did the episode all about the villains, it took all that away because they basically told us everything now. So now we know how everything happened. And now it's just a matter of how is he going to catch these guys? And that was not that interesting to me. Especially because nobody was smart. Like if you're gonna do a cat and mouse kind of situation where the cop has to catch the bad guys, somebody in this situation needs to be smart.
Generally, the mouse.
Yes, generally it
If
is
the mouse is dumb, you don't have cat and mouse.
Exactly, and that was
It's a very short chase after that.
That's kind of my problem
but-
is that the mouse was dumb and the cop was dumb. So watching them kind of just spin around each other was not, and like everybody was stupid, and I didn't find that entertaining. So
when they put the picture up in the bar, that was like, come on, how stupid are you? You're undercover, but you're gonna post your picture on the bar.
Well, just going out to the bar was dumb. I mean, because they're supposed to not be seen together, and then they go out to a very public place, and
they didn't take
it
it
made
seriously.
absolutely no sense.
They didn't take any of it seriously. Like
they
just
didn't.
them leading up to the undercover was just super casual. And knowing that the two of them had murdered a bunch of people, he's like, "Oh, you'll be fine. Just pretend to be a real estate person, no problem." And I was like, "What is wrong with you?" Like everything about all of them, they were just all stupid people, like everybody. And I can't stand watching a show where I feel like I could do better than every single person in the story.
It's one of my former students has dubbed that competence porn.
I've heard you say that here.
What is that?
Incompetence.
Incompetence porn.
Well, he calls it competence porn because they're not competent. I mean, movies suffer from it, but TV shows suffer from it a lot. The characters are just not competent.
Yes,
that's like unsexy porn.
Yeah, I have to look. I agree with you on all these points. They're absolutely true. I still had fun watching the show because I think it really wasn't a mystery so much as it was a character thing. It was just these characters doing stupid funny shit and us watching them do it. It was humorous, it was weird, it was quirky. And for me, and especially the episodes weren't very long. They were like about a half hour long each.
No,
so
they're not.
I think
no, they weren't. They were full episodes.
Were they? Because it didn't.
They were 45 minutes.
Well,
yeah.
Well, okay, but it didn't feel like a lot of time when I was watching it. I enjoyed it. I just thought the quirky characters and the humor of it and the weirdness of it. And bizarro things happening, like the woman coming back and blowing up the house and things like that were just the kind of thing that I thought was fun to watch.
It was not. It was like slow
it's a
torture
matter of
for me.
taste. I enjoyed it.
I think part of the problem though were the villains were so pretty much they weren't dimensional. They were very. I mean, once we find out that she's totally evil.
No redeeming qualities.
Yeah, no redeeming qualities.
You're just waiting for her to kill him.
And he's whipped. I'm left out the first word that goes with that, but he's totally whipped. and he doesn't realize until the very end when she murders him that he made a profession of love to the wrong person.
And that he meant nothing to her. And we as the audience knew that from the beginning. And the fact that he didn't know that was insane, and was surprised when she killed him. Like, what? Of course she killed him.
The moment that surprised me, though, is when they killed the Dragon Queen. I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
I did, because the grandmother said, there's something in what the grandmother said is that the island won't let you go, and that the island, it's the way she phrased it. I was 100% sure that she wasn't going to make it out of this story.
Well, I knew she was never going to leave the island, but I didn't think that they were actually going to kill her. And, I mean, although I did get kind of a clue when they started making, motions toward the little girl being her replacement. So it's like, oh, well, they've got her lined up already. So I guess,
the island,
but I still felt bad about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that coming. And she betrayed the island. She did the biggest betrayal ever. So the island took her. So
the angry tree took her.
So Tom, I gotta ask this. How many dimensions did you say?
So what?
How many dimensions did you say when you said it was something dimensional? Do you remember? Okay, all right. I'll ask you offline.
I just didn't. I did like the chemistry between Vince Vaughn and the coroner. I'm pulling for them, even though she's still mad at him for not getting on the flight with her.
I think she was right.
He's got a hero complex, and he's not as good as he thinks.
Yes.
I mean,
I think the
confidence of a white Anglo cis male.
I like the fact that she wiped her hands at him. I think she's better than he is.
Did she though?
She does. She's like,
she does. She left.
Yes. At the end, she's like, I need to find myself. And she said it was goodbye. And he's the one that pushed her to say that it wasn't goodbye. And she's like, all right, whatever you want to call it. But for her, it was goodbye.
Yeah, no, she showed up for one last fling with him and then bye.
Yeah.
I thought they had good chemistry though.
They did.
Yeah, but she deserved better than he was too dumb. For her.
I think first of all, the book itself, from what I understand, is just a one-off. Although the characters of this writer,
there's a sequel.
Is there a sequel? Because I had heard that it was just a one, but what the writer does is he pretty much writes the same kind of characters in all his novels. So they would take another one and just change it to his character, and go on from there, I guess. If they decide to actually to have another season of this.
They haven't picked it up yet, so who knows?
Not yet, no.
Although Apple has more money. Apple actually has money to pay for shows, unlike Netflix, which just keeps digging more debt.
Yeah. Anyway, Malik, you have any thoughts? You haven't really talked about your thoughts on this.
No, just if they need some story ideas for next season. I hear George R.R. Martin is free. So he might be available.
He will not finish some stuff for them too.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, let's move on. Next up, we're going to talk about Only Murders. We're going to talk about episodes 7 and 8. And Houston, now that you've poked your head up, you get to talk first. What did you think of Only Murders? Episode 7 is the one, help me out.
That's the one where they visit his sister.
Oh yeah, he goes home to his sister, and his sister is played by Melissa McCarthy.
It was a cavalcade of stars. It was so many stars. It was amazing. I felt like it was a variety show, or like, something, some holiday special where it was just like one star after another after another. It was so much fun.
Their fight was crazy.
I mean,
worthy of Dynasty.
It was very Dynasty, but I don't want to jump straight to the fight. I want to talk about Melissa McCarthy first of all, as I don't know if she was supposed to be like a Long Island Jew or whatever, you know what I mean? But she was doing the housewife.
Well, she's got the Jersey accent, but I don't think their family is particularly Jewish.
No, I meant, but with the dolls and everything. And
the dolls. Oh my God.
Oh my God. She was a revelation. I mean, we all know she's a comic genius. And
I have to say, it was a revelation to me. So I've seen her before. I've liked her before. I've never liked her like this.
Oh wow!
I
See?
You didn't like her in Bridesmaids?
I did, but I'm telling you, this role, she was brilliant. in this
Brilliant.
role.
I mean, and the funny thing is, like, you know, you can go, it's very easy to do too much. You know, I got to stop with the jazz hands. It's very easy to do.
You're on camera. No.
Jazz hands. I'm
More jazz
talking
hands.
jazz hands here. So no, I really, she was a revelation because, you know, she did that thing that really great actors do, which is just kind of walk that line, you know, between caricature and, you know, just kind of really giving you something amazing, you know, and you know, I kind of was like thinking like, oh, is this going to be offensive and like kind of too much, you know? And it wasn't. It was just brilliant, and it was so funny and creepy, you know, and desperate and eerie
and sexy too. And sexy too, all of those things.
Oh, okay, Malik.
The way she was flirting with what's his face, Martin Short, right?
I think you're telling us a little something here, Malik.
Yeah.
No, really,
Yeah.
like the chemistry between the two of them was really really great because Martin Short can stand against her in a scene. That's also great. Like he wasn't overshadowed by her, so it was really two great comedic actors really doing their thing. So that was really, really funny. And then thankfully, you know, we got Meryl Streep finally, you know, bursting in, you know, on that scene where
at the most awkward moment ever when he's like, I don't remember who was mounted on who, but somebody was mounted on somebody.
He was on top of her.
He was on top of her.
He was stuck in her shawl.
Her shawl. He was stuck to her shawl.
You slipped and fell on her shawl?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So so when she burst in, I thought, yay, Meryl Streep. And I thought, oh, is this going to be good? Well, I mean.
Meryl Streep is a cheat code. Like it's unfair. It's unfair to have Meryl Streep in your show. She is so beautiful. She's incredible. Yeah.
No, she's incredible. And even in the softer moments, you know, not just the fight scene, but again, she's got amazing chemistry with Martin Short. I think someone told me there's some rumors that there might be some offset something.
Oh no,
I had heard that too.
They're dating in real life, evidently.
Who is dating?
Martin Short and Meryl Streep.
What?
Yeah.
I know. That's like when I heard it, I was like, what?
No. That hurts my head.
Yeah, slow jazz hands.
The jazz hands have exploded.
Yes. So I could see that. I could see the chemistry there. There's like a sweetness there, you know, that like is really, really believable. It makes that believable for me. And obviously it translated into real life. So that was amazing. Like I loved that the real actors came in and you know, what did the Galifianakis and even
you said the real actors. You mean the fake actors?
Fake actors.
The actors playing themselves.
Yes.
Right. And
Eva Longoria and
Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy, right, exactly. So they were amazing. Like the whole thing, it was just like so much going on. It was a great episode from top to bottom. Oh my God. And even they brought in
Molly Shannon.
Molly Shannon came back, you know. I mean, it was just.
Who is Molly Shannon? Who am I forgetting?
She's the one who plays the director.
Producer.
Oh, right.
She came.
Oh, sorry, the producer.
Producer.
I mean, it's got to be a crazy show when you forget Molly Shannon. You know what I mean? And like you forget how funny she is. Like that's some talent on that show. If you're thinking if she's an afterthought on that episode.
Well, I loved that they'd gone all the way out to New Jersey in order to get, or Long Island, to hide out from them, and they're talking about how no one's ever going to find them, and Molly Shannon shows up like 2 seconds later.
Howard tells everybody.
I was about to say, well, first of all, why would you tell your secret to Howard? Like that was a bad decision in the first place. Yeah, that's totally on them. Because he immediately told everyone who asked him.
Although he
for
did a
my
little
money-
sleuthing on his own. He wasn't too shabby when he went
Yes.
to
True.
the bodega.
I want to
Bodega.
talk
for
about that.
for my
that
money,
lead-
that was the best episode of the season, by far. I
was.
really enjoyed that one.
But I want to
Episode
lead
8?
into the next one. I want to lead
Yeah.
into the next one, which is the investigation of the bodega, which brings in the Westies, and you find out all the Westies are signing for the Social
Dudenoff.
Security check. So they're like, "Oh no, all of them killed Dudenoff," and that leads us to. I mean, this episode was okay. This was more of a we gave you a red herring, and now we're cleaning up that red herring more than anything else.
Shout out though to I was watching, when each of the characters were explaining their, their
Part of the-
backstory,
yeah.
and they were all just kind of standing there, and it was like a one-man show for like a minute.
Oh my
everybody had, like, a
God!
thing.
Are you talking? I know you're talking about is
Kumail.
Kumar.
Let her say it. Let her say it.
Yeah, Kumail. Now Johnny, when he was redoing the whole,
A Few Good Men.
One good
Yes.
man, for a few good
Few
men,
Good
and
Men.
then
Men.
Trial scene. Oh my God.
hilarious. And at one point, but at one point when Zach Galifianakis, I could see it on the faces of every actor. He ad-libbed that line about being like, I took an acting class. It was in a subway, and mostly sex workers were my my co-students or whatever. And they did like reaction shots of the actors. You could tell that they were all like, I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not gonna laugh. And like it was just like, and then when Kumail was speaking, and like it was just, I could tell that that must. I mean, I would have loved to have been on set that day, because I'm sure there were so many ad libs. I'm sure they were breaking character. I'm sure that I could tell that they were trying not to laugh during a lot of the scenes, the reaction.
And there were
shots,
so
they kept
many
them in there.
people in that scene.
Yes.
There were
Yeah.
so many people in that scene, and that scene made the episode worth happening.
Yeah, of course.
I agree that the episode was in general slow, but that scene was golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even before he started into A Few Good Men, I loved when he said, "I don't know why I keep replacing the batteries in that in that sweater."
Yep.
Yeah, that scene was it for me for sure.
Yeah, he did such a good job. He did such a good job. But at the end of the day, the whole episode was like, it's the Westies. It's not the Westies. So it was all culminates into playing the film, showing Dudenoff basically telling everybody, I'm dying. I'm going to I already killed myself, and they're going to burn me in this incinerator. So, but
Well,
then
he was leaving that specifically for Helga.
right.
Because she was the only one who wasn't in the loop about what had happened.
Right, and he didn't include her because he thought it would hit an emotional button for her. So, like, I thought that was nice, him being considerate that way. All of that was actually pretty good. Except the only thing that I find unreasonable is that his bones stayed in that incinerator for what, 2 years? 3
It's really
years?
just a prosthetic. It's
the
metal.
titanium.
Yeah,
metal
it's the
prosthetic.
metal prosthetic. That means nobody ever cleans out that incinerator. Is really what that
Apparently not.
means. So
How
that's-
often do you clean your incinerator? I mean, hey,
I
what are you
mean,
gonna do?
that's true. But
How
anyway,
many do you have an incinerator?
I was about to say I do not have an incinerator. But let's move on.
Can we just give a shout out to Griffin Dunn
Who's that?
as Dudenoff?
Yeah, as
That's
Dudenoff.
Oh, Dudenoff. Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
He kind of disappeared from acting for a while, and
Yeah.
then this is his second role in a Fogelman series. He was the presumed dead brother on This Is Us.
This Is
the
Us,
second half of
yeah.
the series. So, but the fact that he can do comedy and drama, and it's just good to see him again, because he was the lead in American, or he was the wacky best friend in American Werewolf in London, who starts deteriorating over the course of the movie.
Oh, right. Oh my God, that's right.
Speaking of disappearing, I don't know if this is against the rules, but I have to say, going back to Chaos, the character of Theseus disappeared after
It is against the
after
rules.
his
We're not on that show.
episode. Then he just disappeared. So that just reminded me of people disappearing.
right.
Carry on.
I was trying to wrap this one up. So I think we're saying we really like Only Murders, even their episodes that are kind of slow, that I feel like make us think we're running in place. But it does lead at the end. It goes back to my theory, which is they're killing stuntmen. So I still don't know who was doing
We
it
just
or
need to
why.
know why.
Why, but I think it goes back to my theory
Yeah.
that I
Now, I
posited.
mean, I have to just interject that I think this, I mean, there's been a lot to find humorous in this season, but I don't think it's as well done or as even as other seasons past. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of unevenness, and I think that there's many guest stars.
Characters.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
They've been fun though.
fun as watching, various people do their thing. I think if they just maybe invited them next year, half of them, that would have been better, because really it's like it's just, cast of thousands at this point, and it just starts to feel really crowded.
Plus,
I could see
It
that.
felt like a variety show. It really felt like a
Yeah.
holiday, like, kind of like, bring out all the stars. And I mean, I really enjoyed the energy of it, but it does actually accentuate the unevenness of the season, making it seem like it's so kinetic and so fun this one episode, and then the other episodes aren't as much. But you know what, for me, a lot of the times, yes, there's a murder, of course, and they do a good job, but for me, a lot of it is the one-liners, and the like subtle acting, and and that the kind of comedy. So for me, if I get enough of that, then I'm okay with the show. Like I don't really care who murdered who, you know what I mean? Like that, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah, but
just
what
kind of
really
crazy.
makes the show for me is the chemistry between the leads.
Yeah,
Right.
and that is
And
gone
when
this
we
season,
have this
yeah.
many
Yes.
guest stars, it
Yes.
cuts down on, I mean, at the end of the episode with Melissa McCarthy, we actually had the actors take over figuring out the mystery instead
Yes.
of our core group.
Yes.
And it was like, really? I mean, it was amusing on one hand, but on the other hand, it was like, well, that's what our group is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's things like that.
All right, we need to move on though, guys. But overall, I still think we're still thumb upping Only
For
Murders.
sure. For sure.
All right. Next up, we're gonna do Fight Night, and we're gonna try to wrap this one up too because we got a slow start on it, and the few of us who did finish it, because I don't think everybody made it to the finish line. Thank you, Yusen. Not everybody made it to the finish line, and when we did, we were slightly disappointed. So I just feel like
I didn't make it 10 minutes in. So
So there you go.
Ooh.
All right. I enjoyed the beginning of the show, and I can't pinpoint exactly where I was like, I don't know. And I feel like it should have been, even though it was only
This should have been 6 episodes.
it should have been shorter. They didn't have as much story, and once they reveal that
Terrence
Terrence
Howard.
Cadillac, I was gonna say his character
Cadillac is his name. Yes.
Cadillac. Once they reveal that Cadillac was the villain, and then he, tells everyone his plot or plan. This is why I'm doing it.
And we
once-
get a visit by his mom, played by Debbie Allen, and I think
That
this
was
is
cool.
one of the
Yeah.
first on camera roles in a while because she's usually directing.
Yeah, that was cool. But I mean, once we find out why he's and I felt like we didn't need all that back. There was a lot of backstory about
Too
why.
much backstory.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, that's fine, I guess. And once we find that out, it needed to wrap up
Sooner,
quickly.
and it didn't.
Yeah, and it took too long. And then when Don Cheadle got kicked off the force for justifiably punching that dude in the face, because that was awesome. Once he got kicked off the force, then him teaming up with Chicken Man was kind of fun, because then they got to see how each other worked, and they learned from each other, which I thought was cool. But it still felt like that went on a little too long.
At least
like,
an episode too long.
Yeah, so yeah, and I was just like, come on, guys, let's go. Like, I really wanted this to go faster. So that's my opinion. Next, someone else.
Yeah, I don't have really that much else to say, because I agree with you on all that. I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing and finished it up a lot sooner than I guess most of the rest of you. Because I was enjoying the ride for the most part. It was absolutely, though, too long. 6 episodes should have been the limit for this show because it started to feel really drawn out, and it started feeling like that pretty early in the proceedings.
Yes. We spent too
So
much time with the robbers. Like, I didn't need to spend so much time with the robbers. Like, once we understood how they got played, that's all we needed to know.
pretty much, because I mean there wasn't much to their personalities anyway. And you knew that they were all going to end up dead. So why are we expending all this
Although
time?
not the way you thought they were going to.
That's true
Yeah.
too. And the one
So,
guy that I didn't want to survive survived.
of course.
Who's that?
Yeah.
The
The creepy
Oh, the
sociopathic
creepy
one.
dude who.
oh
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
what was
yeah.
his name? Wasn't like White Mike. It was
I can't remember.
I don't remember, but he was first of all, he was like willing to kill like any of them at the
Anybody.
beginning, and then inexplicably for some reason got
he got a
attached to the kid.
little bit of a heart, little
bit.
tiny heart that was like blip blip blip.
Yeah, but like the lead robber, who was the only one who seemed even vaguely sympathetic, of course he dies.
Oh, yeah.
Um
The veteran.
but the thing is, it just like you said, it went on too long. I enjoyed the performances of the different characters. I loved seeing Don Cheadle. Samuel L. Jackson was great to watch. Taraji was amazing. I mean, all of them were fun to watch. It's just
actually, I really like Taraji's story towards the end.
yeah.
Like,
And I
Yes,
love
yeah.
I love the two of them, sort of working together, and that was great. But it was just too long. It was just too long.
When she shoots the dude.
Oh, that was
like,
great.
girl.
That was my favorite point. Like,
And,
was that-
and basically ingratiates herself to Sam Jackson. It was
Yeah.
like it wasn't impulsive. It was very smart. I want to know, Malik, what was your overall? Did you feel the same way about Kevin Hart at the end as you did at the beginning?
So thank you for giving me this opportunity, Tom.
Because that's all I thought about watching the second half. Is like, I wonder what Malik thinks of this.
Adjust the
I've had-
soapbox and begin.
I've had problems with this show from the beginning. I've only continued to watch it because, like in the famous words of Marshawn Lynch, I'm here so I won't get fined.
someone's
He's an NFL
finding
player.
you?
He would show up at press conferences, and if he doesn't show up at the press conference, he gets fined. So
fined.
that was his answer to every question. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why I watch Fight Night, because I'm on this podcast and I didn't want to get fined.
I didn't know I could find you. Like that's a revelation for me. All right.
So I have to one disclosure. So we were doing 2 episodes at a time, so I only got to 6. But based on our normal plan, so I didn't finish it. I'm not sure that I will now that we're not talking about this anymore. So Kevin Hart never grew on me. I never believed anything he said, and I don't know how other people believed anything he ever said.
Well, the part
I
of his
will
character
say-
is that he's supposed to be a liar.
He's a
So
BS artist. That's
yeah,
the
so you're
Yeah.
not
Yes,
supposed to
but
believe
liars
it.
are supposed to be convincing. Like, that's why they're liars. They're good at it, and they convince people. I didn't believe a word Kevin Hart said in this whole show.
Interesting.
Having said that, I absolutely loved the scene where Terrence Howard Cadillac was in the batting cage. I
Oh, that was
thought
good. That was
that
good.
was so unique
You
in
knew what
terms
was
of how
coming
to
too.
shoot.
You knew
Yeah.
what was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was just incredible. I was amazed by that scene. And I don't know, I mean, I know it's some combination of the writing and the direction, but Terrence Howard has to have played baseball before, because he was so comfortable with the swings and saying his lines in between the scenes. So to me, Terrence Howard, I in general, I think he's a pretty great actor. There are times when he's more exciting and times he's less. But to me, that batting cage scene was reason enough for him to
Riveting.
do the whole series. I really love that scene. But so no, Tom,
Okay.
Kevin Hart never grew on me in this show.
Well,
I'll be-
I was cheering for Don Cheadle for this show. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
want, and I didn't want Chicken Man kind of got a happy ending, and I didn't like that. I didn't want him to get a happy ending.
Well, apparently
all.
the real guy actually did
Oh,
end
yeah.
up like
Yeah,
that, which is, I mean,
became
it struck me, when they first showed it, I said, "Oh, come on,
I
that's a
know,
little
right?
much." And
I
then they
know.
showed at the end that that's exactly what he did.
That's what happened in real
So,
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Malik, I would love to know, just fast forward. Well, you can't fast forward always on Peacock.
If you want to talk about it, I'll watch the last 2 episodes. You want to talk about it?
I'd be interested for you to see the Debbie Allen scene, because
Okay.
I've been a fan of hers since the original Fame. But when she shows up as, like, the
Matriarch.
as the matriarch / the puppet mistress, I'm like, oh, so that's why he is the way he is.
And I like that Sam Jackson called it.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like that he
Oh,
called
yeah.
it at the end. He was like, he said, your daddy's problem, him getting killed had nothing to do with him. It had to do with him listening to your mama. He said, are you listening to your mama right now? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Like, that was fantastic. That was
Okay,
really
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
It's interesting though, because I looked at some of the reviews, and a lot of people, I don't know if the expectations are just so low, because Kevin Hart as an actor, as an actor, he's an okay comedian, but he basically just infused Chicken Man with his typical comedy persona, and it sounds like that didn't work for you, because a con man has to be convincing to gain somebody's confidence.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
why it's called a confidence man. Yeah.
Because he's doing the same comedy shtick. I don't know.
I didn't he was my least favorite part of the show, honestly. So I can
But
kind
that
of
supporting cast, though.
Yeah, everybody.
was
Don,
great,
I
yeah.
was there for Don
And
Cheadle.
I
And
bet
Sam
you
Jackson.
this would not have gotten made had he not attached himself to it.
Who? Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's likely.
yeah.
I
He
bet you
attached
he's
himself
the
to
one
it
who
as
said,
executive.
I'll do this because he's a movie star. That's what made all the pieces fall in line for him to win these Oscar winners and nominees.
All of those guys said they're all friends. They were like, "Oh,
I believe it.
We get to work together and do this thing. All right, cool."
I want to see a Black Ocean's 11 with them. That's what I want to see.
Oh, that would be
Can we do it minus Kevin Hart though? Is that all I'm asking? Because
Maybe he can just produce.
He can. But see, if you do Ocean's 11 with Kevin Hart, it'll work because he will be the comic relief guy, and he's not going to be playing somebody other than what
he's not going to allow that now. He's too big now. He's not going to allow himself to be a secondary character.
What you're saying?
That's true.
Yeah. And I mean, by the way, I'm well wishes for him. I'm glad his career has worked out to where it is. So it's a beautiful thing for him. I didn't enjoy seeing him in this role.
Okay. But overall, I would say it was it had some really, really good moments with some really, really good actors, but it needed to be a little shorter.
6 episodes, not 8.
Yes. Yeah, I think
there needs to be somebody at a service to all the streaming services saying, you don't have enough story for 8 episodes, 6.
Yeah.
Somebody who vets all the scripts, 6, 7, 4.
See, maybe we would have actually been able to keep Chaos, if they just reduce the number of episodes in other shows that are too bloated, I mean, you could save money that way.
A little bit from here, a little bit from there. I like it.
All right, well, let's wrap that one up. Next up, we're going to talk about Agatha All Along. And we're behind on Agatha, so we're only going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4, which is the beginning of the trials. And it's the first and second trial. The first trial is with the poison wine, and they all take the poison wine, except Agatha, for some reason, thinks she can skip this trial and not take the poison wine. And I was like,
Agatha's a selfish witch.
Well, she is, but I feel like she's done the road before. She's the only one.
It wouldn't work. That's the thing. She tries to do things like she brought a green witch who's not even a witch.
Yep.
Like, and then she tried to not drink the wine for the trial. It's like, that's not going to work. So I agree that she's selfish, but it also seems somewhat unintelligent on her part.
Correct. That's the thing that bothered me on this one was she didn't take the wine. She's done this trial before. Why would she?
The trials are all. We don't know if the
that's
trials
true. They're not.
They'd be different.
They'd be different. That's true.
Yeah.
But I feel
well, it's going to be different. But the thing is, she knows basically what the trial is about, and it requires certain things. I do think it's kind of interesting that she is the only one who survived the trial that she did before.
Mhm.
And yet she is, like, you said, cheating all the time. So it makes me wonder what exactly happened in that first trial. I mean,
But
how
we just know from
exactly
her
did she end up
reputation,
being the
she's the
only?
only person who's ever completed the Witch's Road. And we
Mhm,
also know she has a penchant for killing other witches.
Yep.
mhm.
So
So let me say this, because I wasn't a big fan of the first two episodes. I wasn't that excited about it. Episodes 3 and 4, had they been my first episodes, I'd be encouraging other people to see the show. So I liked 3 and 4 far better than I liked 1 and 2.
agreed.
And in particular, I liked 3. I thought, one, as an audience, we're being introduced to the concept of the trial in the first place. So the first trial is going to be interesting because we don't know what to expect, and we're figuring it out along with them, which I think is really nice, really fun. Also, I have to say this, it was also more of an ensemble. It was less of a focus on Agatha's character, which for me is helpful, to be able to deal with the rest of the ensemble. And then I'm trying to figure out if I got this right. She does call Aubrey Plaza in as the no, that's
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 the
in
next
4.
episode.
That's the next
four.
episode.
That's 4.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it there, but you already know I'm a fan of Aubrey Plaza, and the work that she is just eating this role.
That is
She's
true.
just eating
very
it.
much
There's
right
no
up her alley.
background scenery chewing. She's just chewing
Yes.
all of it, not just the
Yes.
background, all of the
Yeah.
scenery. Yeah.
She's just loving her role
Yeah,
very
so
much.
the only thing less that I want to say about 3 for the trial is that it's all about potions, and
Which I thought was really fun
was
because
really
it's
cool,
it's
yeah.
a great way to start, a traditional witch, series episode with a potion, but make it modern. I loved all the like modernizations of like the Eye of Nude and like, the frogs like or whatever, like, and it's like they're using makeup and they're using Vaseline
and the cauldron was the sink, and
Yeah.
all of that stuff was
and they're all
really
dressed
good.
like beautiful, like, in that white, suburban kind of, whatever. I mean,
Real Housewives.
yeah, thank you. Real Housewives kind of,
And one thing I really do love is every trial they have like a weird costume change in a weird era. So
Yeah.
this was our first indication that we were going to do that. And it broke my heart a little bit that the Green Witch who wasn't a Green Witch was the first one to go down.
Sharon.
Yeah.
She did
I was
not
surprised
deserve
by
that.
that.
Who's Sharon? Who's Sharon?
That was fantastic.
Who?
So Sharon dies and everybody's all sad, and Agatha goes, "Who's Sharon?" And I was like,
Sharon?
"Wow,
That was the best line.
Wow."
No, but
That
you know
was
what?
so
But what's
good.
really, I'm also sad on a episode. I mean, on a show level, because she really was the comedic relief, and she was really funny. I thought she was great, and I thought, oh, we're not going to have her anymore. So, I mean, I was hoping they would bring her back to life, but as I'm watching more episodes, I'm seeing that that's probably not going to happen.
So basically, she brought a civilian in to try
Uh-huh.
to trick people and cause her to get killed.
Yeah.
No, there's no excuse,
Yeah.
Tom. That's exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did.
I would argue that Sharon, because she still seemed to be lingering under effects of the fact that she had a magnificent garden, that she
Yeah.
could have been a Green Witch and didn't know it.
Yes, but that's
Oh,
still a
right.
because
It's-
she
that's-
didn't.
Yeah, but she was a civilian.
Because she
Every
didn't.
single
She was
other-
like
aware.
she was
She
probably like
aware.
a blood witch. She has
Yeah.
witch
Witch blood.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
in,
she was
in
the
her
only-
background, but nothing that she's aware of.
No
She's
training.
the only one who did not understand what the Witch's
The
Road
risk.
was and the
Right.
risk. And she just was like, "Oh, you're inviting me to a
And she
party,
didn't
and
know
you're
the words to the song.
Party.
Are
She's
we
like,
supposed
"Oh,
to know this song?
I know." And so I felt really bad for her, and she was the first casualty down. Like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Poor thing.
Mrs.
But it
Hart.
also made the show very real for me. I was like, oh, they're killing people. I was like,
Yeah.
this is not going to be just, just fun and silly. I was like, there's some stakes involved.
There's
So,
stakes.
I mean,
Mistakes.
it
But
made sense.
also, I mean, yes, to your point, But also, she only died because they forgot about her. Like they were like, "Oh, we're all cured. Jazz hands, we're all cured."
Right.
And then they're like, "Oh wait, isn't she?" And then they look
Yeah,
behind them
so they
and saw
waited
her.
too long.
Yes, they
So-
waited too long. So that was
Yeah.
super tragic. Because she wasn't part of the crew. She was not part of the team.
Yeah.
So then you get to the next episode. The next trial is the city.
Rock band.
You said rock band.
Rock band.
Rock band.
It's the one with the curse. The woman, she's got a family curse.
Oh, right.
And the way her mom staved off the curse for her was to create this song.
Which was a
And
protective spell.
It was a protective spell that somebody somewhere in the world would be playing constantly because she made it a hit. And I was like, wow.
That was cool.
That was
That's
really
a cool
cool.
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However,
Uh-oh.
howsoever,
Uh-oh.
it's a cool concept. I like the idea of it. I think the main problem with that is, one, it did look like Rock Band. I mean, it looked like they were getting in front of a Nintendo screen and trying to play music. But because the first version of The Witch's Road was so well done, this felt like an inferior remix to me.
Well,
So
by first, you mean the Sacred Chant version, which was number 2.
Like the authentic OG.
yes, the OG version where that got them to The Witch's Road in the first place.
That was fantastic.
That was
Well, but
so
that's
well
like-
done.
That's
that
like the
this
original.
one,
Yeah, but that's like a remix. This is like a remix, and
I
then
know, but
think,
the remix is supposed to be better than the original.
Well,
remember, the very
no, it's a
first
different
version
Well,
we
actually,
heard
we haven't
the
heard
opening-
the original yet, because the original is the hit that she
Yes, on
wrote
the
that's going
record.
around, and I'm not going to get to spoilers, but
The
the thing is, we
spoiler,
haven't
okay.
heard
We don't wanna
we
get
haven't
ahead
heard
of
that yet.
ourselves.
We haven't heard
All
that
right,
yet.
I'm comparing the version that they sang to get to The Witch's Road was so good and
It
so
was.
captivating
It's
that
supposed
this
to be.
remix felt inferior to me.
Right.
So I like the concept. I like the story. I loved Aubrey Plaza's role and all of that. The song itself didn't
It was a
hit
little
for
flat.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
So
But I
do-
did
Yeah.
like them defeating the demon. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
What do we
Demon
think
slash
about the
curse.
relationship between Aubrey Plaza, Rio Vidal? And I'm sorry, kids, but if you know a little Latin or Spanish, that's River of Life.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you
Her-
talking about?
Aubrey Plaza's character's name is Rio Vidal,
Oh, it is.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
and
didn't
Rio
know
is
that.
River, Vidal is life. So,
Right,
I'm
Vidal.
So
like,
you're saying she's a slow horse's character, River? Is that what you're telling us?
no.
I
No, I'm
didn't
just,
get that
I'm
joke.
just wondering, especially since she plays a goth type character and previously has played a goth type character. I'm like, is that the ultimate misdirect?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask
It's
about.
possible.
I thought you were going to ask about her relationship with
Agatha.
With Agatha,
The clearly
what is
romantic
the nature of
relationship.
her
Because there
relationship
was
with
some
Agatha,
something.
because it
I
seems
feel like there was some
they're
history there.
exes.
Yes.
I feel
Oh, there
like
was
Absolutely.
definitely history there. Yeah.
And it
They've
feels like
obviously.
Aubrey's character betrayed Agatha in some fashion.
Or the other way around.
Or the other,
No,
more
I-
likely.
Well,
the
she
other
kind
way.
of said it. She kind of
says it.
said,
Aubrey,
Yeah.
she kind of apologizes. She's like, I was doing my job. Whatever that was that betrayed Agatha.
Oh, right.
Well,
Yeah,
considering
they were
Agatha's
together,
track record,
right?
Yeah.
but I mean, clearly there was a romantic element
Yes.
to that
Yeah.
relationship, which
Yeah.
before we just thought they were enemies or frenemies.
Yes.
And that episode told you, oh, it was deeper than that.
Right.
Can we talk
Um,
about the elephant in the room, by the way?
What's that?
Something that Marvel maniacs have been
Oh,
expecting for years.
the child.
No, somebody name drops Mephisto.
Oh, right.
And that's
a Marvel thing.
huge.
That's
Because
a
all
Marvel
throughout WandaVision, everybody's like, Mephisto, Mephisto.
I'm
Oh,
not
I
sure if you
forgot.
understand what elephant in the room means, because that's not
Sorry.
that's not what we were all thinking, Tom.
I was not
There's
thinking
a lot
that
of
either.
elephants. Are you talking about Teen?
I'm
Yeah.
talking about Teen and
Yeah.
who his mother is. That to me, I thought was elephant in the
Yeah,
room.
but that's
that we
not
haven't
yet. That's not yet. We don't find that
Yeah,
out
we
yet.
can't
Yes, it is in episode 4. They
No.
bring up the.
No, that's
I
episode
I
five.
have not watched ahead.
Well, no.
Oh.
At the very end, when Rio
Somebody-
and Agatha are together, one of the things
Oh.
she says to her
She's like, "He's
at the
not
very
your
end to cut
child."
her off is, "It's
Yes,
not your
he's
child,
not your son.
It's
not your son."
Agatha's child.
So they
Right.
spend the whole episode making us think that he is her child.
Or could
Correct.
be.
And
Or
then
could be.
at the end of the episode, Aubrey Plaza says, and I should learn her character's name.
Rio
Rio.
Vidal.
Oh,
Rio
River,
Vidal.
River of Life. Yes, Rio says he's not your son. That happens
Right.
at the end of episode 4. So
Yeah,
I
but we
thought
don't
that's
know
what
that
you
that's
meant.
true. We don't know
Yeah.
that that's true. That's just what she
But
said.
That's what she
leads-
says, yes.
Right, but what leads me to also think I know what the betrayal was, because it's insinuated that Agatha made a trade for the Darkhold. And she thought she was trading, I don't know what she thought she was trading, but what they ended up taking in exchange for the Darkhold was
Was her
her
child.
son.
It's her son.
And I, based on this, I think Aubrey was the one that took her son, because it was part of the deal.
Very likely, yeah.
And that's what the whole betrayal thing between them is. And
When
that's
there's
why she
magic
would,
involved, you never make a trade like that because they don't go well.
yes. It's like you traded your firstborn, you just didn't realize it.
Rumpelstiltskin, essentially. We didn't learn that lesson.
Right. So I feel like that's where they were going with that. But I can't wait for us to get to the next 2 episodes. Because,
Yep.
of course, all of us except Malik have watched the next 2.
I'm
we're-
following the script.
We have sigils.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm really enjoying this extra. I'm enjoying this series extra because it's so original. Like, it's not on a property that, even though it's Marvel, it just feels very original. And it's not based on something that, I mean, I know it must be a comic, obviously. But I don't think they're following the comic, are they? This is like an original.
Before WandaVision, Agatha Harkness was best known for being Franklin Richards, Reed and Sue Richards' son's babysitter. Period. There is no Agatha comic book that they're drawing from. Jack Schaefer is like doing her own thing,
right,
and weaving in other aspects, but I trust her implicitly.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm really enjoying this because it's really refreshing. It's, it feels new. And I mean, it's funny to say something like that because, it's not. It's about witches and, a lot of the, the things that we know about witches and all of that, is all the same. Historically, it's like vampire lore, it's witch lore. But as far as the show is concerned, as a show, it feels new for me. And I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. And having seen the next 2 episodes, I will just say that it continues to feel fresh and fun and new, and I'm proud of the show, really, for like not having any source material to go off of and just doing a good job. So
well, they do have source material. There's references that they're making from various comics.
Yeah, but there's
and characters, but there is
is
no one thing. And where Agatha is concerned, I think this is an example of where they have their strongest series, because I think prior to Agatha, the only series that I really liked that they did was WandaVision and Loki. And in both cases, they didn't feel the need, or at least for Wanda until the very last episode, they didn't feel the need to tie it back into the MCU slavishly to, prep it for a new movie. And actually, Wanda ended badly because they used the last episode to do that.
Set up for Doctor Strange too.
Yeah. Oh God, when that was really worth waiting for. But I'm hoping that they keep fidelity with this, that they just decide to, have a good story, the beginning, middle, and end, and they don't try to tie it into something larger and just, ruin it. Because so far, I'm really enjoying the series.
I would agree. I did not see this coming. If you had asked me which Marvel TV show I'm looking forward to,
you were so dismissive of this show.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Is this the one where she was like, nobody asked for this?
Yes. Who's asking for this show?
I'm totally agreeing. I was totally wrong. I totally will admit that. I thoroughly am enjoying the show. It is one of the best surprises that I've had, because I didn't see this show coming.
Also, I want to say, even though he's not a true teen, I don't know how old he is. I'm sure he's in his 20s. He's playing a teenager, and I really like him. I like the teen.
Yeah,
I like the guy who's playing the teen.
Yeah, he's got an earnestness about him that I really believe.
Yes.
Yeah, he also stars in something called Heartstopper,
Heartstopper.
which is supposed to be fantastic. I haven't watched it
I
yet,
don't know
but
what that is.
I know there are people who love it. It's a gay
teen-
relationship story,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to be
It's-
just fantastic.
I've heard
And
that as
it's
well.
called what?
Heartstopper.
Heartstopper.
Stopper.
Heart.
Oh, okay.
Heartstopper.
Heart. I
would
will tell you what I
could
thought she
believe
said.
that.
Okay.
I've heard the same thing, and I'm interested in watching the series now because I'm not really I'm not really into watching teen dramas, but
Yeah.
I heard that it's excellent, and I
And
really
he's
like
good.
him in this. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
good.
quite
On the
good.
strength of his acting, I would check it out. Yeah.
Mhm,
Back to the Bone
exactly.
sings his praises, literally.
All right. Well, we need to wrap this one up
Yep.
and wrap this podcast up. So we're giving Agatha thumbs up as well.
Jazz hands.
Wrong show.
This is the
Not
Jazz
just
Hands
thumbs, but all the
episode.
fingers.
All the
Okay.
fingers.
All right. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them at tvcampfire@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can listen to us on sci-fi.radio and YouTube. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.